Hello YouTube, Infinite Magicraid community, Gandalf here. We have a new hero this week, and it is Narch. Hopefully I said his name right. He is a bleed hero that scales off of his defense. And I will put him, I will actually say he is actually a very decent hero from damage wise for a bleed hero. Looking purely at comparable options, like when we saw the introduction of Chardonnay, the deep the heavy bleed was something he brought uniquely into the game that was with no diminishing return, straight up 50% more damage for bleeders. Now we got Narch, who comes in with a bleed up 2. I don't think there was any other hero that had this kind of attribute buff. So maybe we will see, poison up 2 and burn up 2 in the future. But this further scales, and this month, we also have the endless coaster. I'll be doing a series of videos on this, but we're seeing power creep in stats and damage boosting very quickly. I wonder what this means potentially with more and more players able to reach stage 40 or being able to do a very high amount of damage. I think it's really about balancing damage and survivability. Like people feel like, oh, I can do a ton of damage. I must be able to, say, for example, clear the Wuthering Coast content. Well, not quite. Once, if you can ever get yourself to like the 2 billion damage mark, you'll be amazed at how hard the boss can hit you back for. So, yes, they're giving us shiny new toys that can really boost and amp up our damage, but I think for the average player, yes, getting these heroes will, really, give you a nice multiplier, another 50% more damage. You were doing, 400 mil. Now you're doing 600 mil. Great, but it's not going to help you, get into the Kraken territories of those kind of damage. It nonetheless, he's a really strong hero. So let's enough, mumbling here, and let's go into his kit a little bit. If we look at how he is structured, his kit allows him to be both supporting and amplifying the damage of his peers from a bleed perspective, but he actually does a lot of damage on his own as well. He has a very well-rounded kit for a damage dealer. So let's go right into his basic skills. Off the bat, again, damage is going to be split. You do straight up bleed damage and you also apply a bleed debuff, which is really important. Um, yeah, good. It said the damage calculated based on his defense. Good. So first of all, by being a defense-based scaling hero, he's just naturally more tanky. His multipliers are actually decent, quite decent as well. So you got two parts. You get a bleed um, dot, and you get to put direct bleed damage and a little bit of physical damage as well. What's really nice about kit like this is it actually leaves the debuff for things like for heroes like Lysander, who doesn't actually leave a bleed dot. You're actually losing quite a bit of damage when you can't stack up that bleed. Then looking at his kit, it's very much in support. You get the defense up, which boosts his own damage, right? And it's 60%, so it scales very well. He is going to be able to give the team bleed up 1 at base, and an exclusive 1 is going to go up to bleed 2, which is 50%. Furthermore, um, Raven's Blessing will be then enhanced to allow you to have a full cleanse on attribute debuff and get block debuff up. So basically a solid damage dealer with support capability, like two roles all into one. Going to be a very strong PvE hero at this point. Um, with a kit like this. And he can actually use the stamp um, that Chardonnay uses as well because he's defense scaling. And we get to use a lot of our artifacts and gear that normally will be like, this is crap because it has, defense on it. Well, now it's actually good for him. So hopefully you didn't throw too many of those away. Mastery with a lot of defense. Um, then what we see is on his kit is, of course, this triggers off Raven Gaze. So 2 turns. Like basically, it benefits rest of your bleed heroes. He's gonna run really well on his own. Like just looking at his damage, right? He's gonna be fine as the only bleed hero, but if you do like Wuthering Coast and you have a lot of other bleed hero, he's gonna boost the damage for all of your other bleeders. Ideally, run with bleeders that do direct bleed damage and don't have to override a lot of bleed dots. Then here comes his he has some restoration and shield as well. So so you can see he does a lot of damage and he's a support. Like that's what kind of makes him kind of imbalance a little bit because normally you run, a support hero and they focus on supporting. He has both support capabilities and a lot of damage. He's almost like this reminds me of like the bleed of O'Grady's, right? O'Grady's does a lot of burn damage and has a lot of support as well to be able to put up shield and increase survivability of the entire burn team. So here um, is going to restore all allies wherever bleed owned by any enemy is triggered. And if ally doesn't have a shield when restoring, will give Narch a will give shield off if Narch's HP. So yeah, so basically, yeah, you got basically a bleed version of O'Grady's. O'Grady's actually increases burn damage, but here it's kind of done through, non-unique buffs. So I guess they could be stripped. Um, just super strong. So for those of you who have O'Grady's and feel like if what would be like to get O'Grady's the equivalent in bleed, well, this is the guy. Um, very, very strong. And here at Hard Exclusive, you're getting basically more shield value from it. Finally, his skill, very flexible. When there's multiple heroes, you're going to be doing big AoEs and bleeding everyone up and doing damage. And if it's a single target, you will be basically hitting just that single target. When there's 2 or more enemies, it does more. If you have, you know, layers of Raven Feather, but you get Raven Feather very easily, right? Raven Feather is gained when the enemy is taking bleed. So if there's a lot of enemy, you're going to get those 8 stacks very quickly. Um, and then here is um, you can all if you're less than 8 stacks, you also get 1 layer of Raven Guardian, and Raven Guardian is refreshed repeatedly. So it's very easy for you to stack this up in a boss fight, and then you're going to be like with 175% extra mastery. So it's like a boss killer, AoE, you get the whole kit. It's kind of here. We're going to try again, just see how quickly it stacks up, right? Understand the mechanic work a little bit. So first, you don't have 8 stacks, so your AoE is you're not going to do much. But whenever the enemies takes bleed, you get stacks. So, and it doesn't even have to be his bleed, I don't think, right? See, we got 2 enemies with bleed. He just got 4 stacks from those 2 taking a turn. Chardonnay. Now we got 2 heroes with enemy, so 2 enemies with bleed. So when this one and that one makes a move, he's gonna get another 2 stack there. Now he has more than 8 stacks. Um, you can see now the ultimate becomes AOE. Overall, I would say this hero is quite well rounded. Normally, I mean, recently they have rolled out a lot of heroes that are very Wuthering Coast focused. I would say this is um, I would say on PvE front, he's like he will be rated very high on the tier list. We will do a tier list, guys, update probably before end of this year. Um, as soon as I finish up year-end work and go into vacation mode, I can finally start making a lot of videos and make up for the lack of content recently. Sorry guys, I know. I even got reminders from people to say, "Hey, Gandalf, where are your videos?" I mean, there's so much new content dropping. We're waiting to hear from you on your thoughts. Well, it's here, guys. Don't worry, I'll catch up. I'll try to make more content this weekend as well. Um, you'll see one from Wuthering Endless Cloister. We'll talk a little about the PvP meta changes a little bit with Ronai really into the scene right now. How do you deal with very fast teams? There's different options. So it's just sneak preview for you guys, but lots of exciting stuff this month. I will make up for the lack of content in the past week. Been I think I complain enough about in real life work. So there you have it, guys. Is he a must pull? I think that's a lot of people wonder, is he gonna be? Would I be missing out if I don't have him? This is what I would say about heroes like this is, yes, he's a very strong hero, but doesn't necessarily mean you have to pull him. It really depends on, where you are in the game. If you absolutely, right, let's exit right now and just look at what's on the banner this week. Um, you have a very solid lineup this week, okay? All these heroes are pretty much top tier in PvE. Now, having said that, remember what I said, this banner could be a trap, right? We are 2 weeks away from Christmas, guys. 2 weeks from Christmas. Many of you, especially if free to play, you're saving very hard. Christmas is going to have a good banner. Last year, Christmas was an awesome banner, and it had a new limited hero in it. They have given us a really good banner right before it. Knowing any gotcha games, this is baiting you at the finest. Now, of course, if you don't care, go ahead and summon. I mean, these are, again, you're not going to be wasting because these are really strong heroes. But if you can control your urges and you want to save for what's potentially even better at Christmas, then save, right? These heroes are all really strong, but if you already have a solid PvE team, none of these heroes are going to be game changing for you. Yes, maybe your burn team will get a little your HP burn team will get a little bit better. Your poison team will get a little bit better. Your bleed team will get a little bit better. But ultimately, in any type of these games, it's the support heroes that ultimately decide how strong your team is. Um, when you get to the end game content, like the very end game content, survivability is key, and you're still running all limited heroes at that point, so it doesn't really matter. So again, save for let's see, I would highly recommend you wait. As much as I want to say he's a super good hero, and the fact that the timing isn't great, I would urge you to try to save. But of course, if you're a whale and and you really love his design or whatever, like go ahead and pull and do whatever you want, right? But I think I will be just doing a disservice as a content creator and someone who can influence the community. I would actually cautiously warn everyone about the timing of this banner, given we're 2 weeks away from Christmas. Um, to think about saving. But of course, again, everyone is different. Everyone has their own choice. If you're asking me for how strong is this hero, S tier, top tier, super strong. Should you pull it? I don't know the size of your wallet. I don't know how much you saved up and how important is, maybe the Christmas banner to you. So I'll leave that to your thoughts, and I hope you enjoy the information from me. Take care wherever you're at. Gandalf out.